The earth, a beautiful gift we got, and we're lousing it up because we're not wise enough to use our technology intelligently. That's what the Venus Project is about.
The best you can to make it better, but whatever they do, that's the real world. What happens is the real world. What I think should happen is wrong. You do your best to make it happen, but if it doesn't, that's all you can do is say best. Do you understand that? But if you have expectations of somebody, and it doesn't turn out that way, it means your judgment regarding that person is wrong.
People are not treating you right. There is not one negative thing that you are experiencing that is happening for any other reason other than you are not appreciating yourself. When you are critical of somebody else, it's not about them, it's about you. When you are condemning the world, whether it is the political world or the religious world or the economic world or the ecological world, when you are looking at the flaws in the world, it is not about the world, it is about the way you feel about you. And so we say, friend, nothing is more important than that you establish your own relationship with you. And it is our promise to you that your inner being adores you. But you close the door when you think thoughts of lack about yourself.
So you have to learn how to evaluate people. And once you learn to do that, you're more apt to have better judgment. Do you understand? It's not the world that hurts you. It's your own expectations.
From this distant vantage point, the Earth might not seem of any particular interest. But for us, it's different. Consider again that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives. The aggregate of our joy and suffering, thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines, every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful child, inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there, on the mote of dust, suspended in a sunbeam. The Earth is a very small stage in a vast cosmic arena. Think of the rivers of blood spilled by all those generals and emperors, so that in glory and triumph they could become the momentary masters of a fraction of a dot. Think of the endless cruelties visited by the inhabitants of one corner of this pixel on the scarcely distinguishable inhabitants of some other corner. How frequent their misunderstandings, how eager they are to kill one another, how fervent their hatreds. Our posturings, our imagined self-importance, the delusion that we have some privileged position in the universe, are challenged by this point of pale light.
whatever happens in the world is real. What you think should happen is not real. So you're not disappointed by the world, you're disappointed by your own projections. If you meet a person, you say, that's a wonderful person, and they turn out to be different than you suspected, you get mad and you say, she isn't that wonderful, or he isn't that wonderful, and it's your own projections that you're mad at. The right way to look at a person is, I don't know enough about them to make a judgment. The point is, when events occur that are tough, if a person deserts you at that time, you understand that they can't live under those conditions. They're not bad people, they revert back to their conditioning.
Controlling people and keeping them in line, and it's one more thing that holds us back as a species. Here's one more item for you, the last in our civics book. Right. Right, you have no right, we have a right, they don't have a right. Folks, I hate to spoil your fun, but there's no such thing as rights, okay? They're imaginary. We made them up. But if you think you do have rights, let me ask you this. Where do they come from? People say, well, they come from God. They're God-given rights. So I believe that if your rights came from God, he would have given you the right to some food every day, and he would have given you the right to a roof over your head. God would have been looking out for you. God would have been looking out for you. You know that? And rights aren't rights if someone can take them away. They're privileges, temporary privileges. And if you read the news even badly, you know that every year the list gets shorter and shorter and shorter.
Either you are not serious, you want to live a very, very superficial life, and that superficiality temporarily satisfies you, or you really don't care. As long as you have immediate pleasures, immediate satisfactions, you really don't care. Or probably you are so deeply conditioned psychologically. Of course, we are biologically conditioned, that's a different matter altogether. But psychologically conditioned, and one is not aware of it. And you can, unless that there is freedom from that conditioning, you will go on this way.
It's not about new cities or new architecture, it's about a way of thinking.